Race out on the track and parading the post behind. Parade Marshal and Outrider Cathay McDonald. Daily Double and Exact and Trifecta. Number 1, Crown Time Stony, owned by Esther Crownover, driven by Dan Ader. 2, Shannon Partner, owned by Woody Woodward. Molly Bush and driver Brett Merkle. Number 3 is Moonbeam Rays, owned by Robert Del Bianco, and the driver will be David Myers. 4, Carolina Sam, owned by Chester Corbett. Justin Hall aboard. 5, Adonijah Scratched. 6, HALBERT HYLIGHT, owned by the HYLIGHT stable and Brian Brown with Mike Wilder. 7 is Scooter Dew, owned by the Gusty stable with Jeff Fout. 8, Too Much Monkey Business, owned by Roy Murphy and Larry King with Randy Tharps. 9, Noble Chairman, owned by Molly Ann Farmer and Joanne Armbruster with Del S. Miller. And number 10 is Nardie Jeff, owned by Richard and Peggy Payne. Jim Daly will be in the sulky. 5 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing on the far outside. Scooter Dew with a rush takes the lead. HALBERT HYLIGHT is up on the outside and Moonbeam Rays. Closing quickly, followed by Shannon Partner. After that, it's Crown Time Stony out of the second tier. Nardie Jeff. The Grays up on the outside. Too Much Monkey Business, followed by Long Shot Carolina Sam and Noble Chairman. Speeding to the quarter-mile pole from the outside. HALBERT HYLIGHT now gets the lead. Scooter Dew parks him second. 28 seconds flat, racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Quickly taking over command, it's HALBERT HYLIGHT by 2. Scooter Dew, the stalker, in second. Moonbeam Rays third. Driving up on the outside, Too Much Monkey Business fourth. Shannon Partner fifth. Into the flow, Nardie Jeff on the outside. Here comes Noble Chairman. Crown Time Stony got shuffled back to Beijing, and at the end it's Carolina Sam. 6 in, 3 out there at the half-mile pole, 58-1 up the backstretch. HALBERT HYLIGHT try to make every pole winning one, leads away by an easy 2. Scooter Dew is in the second, still on the outside. Too Much Monkey Business third. Moonbeam Rays in fourth. Nardie Jeff and Noble Chairman up on the outside. Shannon Partner toward the rail. Crown Time Stony and Carolina Sam. Hub to hub as they rock and roll to the 3/4 mile pole. HALBERT HYLIGHT is there, 3 parts of a length. They're flying now 127-1. Driving around the far turn, HALBERT HYLIGHT. Too Much Monkey Business second by a head. Nardie Jeff up on the outside, fighting back Scooter Dew. Noble Chairman moves to High Street. Off the turn, in the stretch, they're on their way home. HALBERT HYLIGHT, Scooter Dew, Nardie Jeff. In between horses, Moonbeam Rays, ding-dong battle here. Scooter Dew and HALBERT HYLIGHT. Scooter Dew now gets the lead. Four-year-old bay son of Direct Scooter out of Doodlin. Bred in California and Rolling Hills by the Gusty stable, trained by Debbie Boudon. Driven tonight by the Pocket Rocket. Jeff Fout to cover the mile here in 1:55-2. 7, Scooter Dew, the winner of tonight's first race. And I'd like to congratulate Jeff Fout as our Gottlieb's Horseman of the Week. Gottlieb's proud sponsor all summer of our Horseman of the Week, located at 2110 Stringtown Road in Grove City. Gottlieb's Horseman of the Week, Jeff Fout. 7-6 exacta, $38 even. The try, $886.80. Windows are now open on tonight's second race. Second race, field of 8 and no program changes. Post time 7:54. Run down to the first. Crown Time Stony 7th. Shannon Partner 6th. Moonbeam Rays 4th. Carolina Sam. Here comes the field for tonight's second race. Exact and Trifecta wagering as they pray to the post. Number 1, FRITZIE Scooter. Owned by William Fritz and Gerald McHenry. Driven by Jim Daly. 2, I'm a Bad Man. Owned by B.L. Conway with Mark Evers. 3 is BOYLE ALMAHURST. Owned by Roy Mac Davis. Driven by Bob Harper. 4, Daddy's Shadow, owned by Rhonda Stidham, Robert and Francis DeMeo with Rocky Stidham. Number 5 is TNT-HANOVER, owned by Mel Riviello, Randy Owens, and Richard Van Meter. Mike Wilder in the bike. 6, TMJ, owned by Victoria Howard with David Hawk. 7, Hey Sam, owned by PAC-A Stable and Brad Hanners, trained by David Stratton. He was our Gottlieb's Horseman of the Week 2 weeks ago, David Stratton. Number 8, Soccer Mania, owned by the FLG Partnership in Pele. Randy THARPS will be in the sulky. Field for the second, post time in 6 minutes. Your way. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. BOYLE ALMAHURST between horses takes the lead. Daddy's Shadow is in the center. Here's TMJ with a rush on the outside. Followed by FRITZIE, Scooter in fourth, and I'm a bad man of the turn, TNT-HANOVER. Hey Sam and Soccer Mania. This could be a punishing quarter in here. TMJ on the outside of BOYLE ALMAHURST. Nearest the rail into third, Daddy's Shadow. They're flying by the opening quarter in 27-1. 2 deep past the stands to the half-mile pole. BOYLE ALMAHURST along the rail. Right alongside TMJ is under the whip, and this is going to be a pressure-packed half for TMJ, who forges to the front. TMJ 3 parts of a length, and BOYLE ALMAHURST has absolutely starched him tonight. Followed by Daddy's Shadow, who tails these guys in third. FRITZIE, Scooter's up on the outside. I'm a bad man, TNT-HANOVER, Soccer Mania, and Hey Sam, 55-2. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Here comes the new wave on the outside, led by FRITZIE, Scooter, but BOYLE ALMAHURST keeps right on chugging. BOYLE ALMAHURST, TMJ second by a nose. Right alongside Daddy's Shadow third, wide driving FRITZIE, Scooter. I'm a bad man, TNT-HANOVER. Soccer Mania 5 wide and behind a wall of horses. Hey Sam waiting for some racing room. 124-3. Driving around the far turn. It's BOYLE ALMAHURST, Daddy's Shadow. I'm a bad man. Hey Sam's got plenty of kick if he can shake free. They're into the stretch. BOYLE ALMAHURST. Hey Sam now got room. He's absolutely flying. Deep stretch. Here comes the TV Tips horse. Hey Sam closes on the rail now, gets the lead. Hey Sam in front. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's second race, number 7, Hey Sam. 5-year-old bay horse by Noble Lamb Sam out of Lady Love Toy. Owned in Ottawa by the PAC-A Stables, trained by our Gottlieb's Horseman of the Week 2 weeks removed, David Stratton, giving a ground-saving drive to victory tonight by Brad Hanners. To cover the mile in 154-2, 7 Hey Sam, the winner of tonight's second race. 7-2, 7-3 exacta, 99.40, 7-3 exacta, 99.40. The try, $554.40. Tonight's 7 and 7 VO Daily Double, $90 even. Windows are now up and on tonight's third race, sponsored by Thermal Seal. Number 4, Swango, continues to race on Lasix, post time 8:13. Here comes the field for race 3, Superfecta, wagering number 1, Polaris Parkway. Owned by Florence Linehan, Del S. Miller drives. 2, PAC-A Mark, owned by Jerome Grogan with Mike Wilder. 3, Daring Line, owned by Howard Taylor, Mary and Bruce Walls. The driver is Eric Ledford. 4, Swango, continues to race on Lasix for Charles Stovall and Don Feaster. 5, Run the Gauntlet, the $500,000 man, owned by Sylvia and Ronald Birkin. Brad Hanners in the bike. 6, I'm Steven, owned by Charles Brannigan with Chip Noble. 7, Marching Tune, owned by George Young Jr. and Robert Young with David Myers. 8, Fortune on Hold, owned by Herb Miller, Richard Garner, and Don Tracy. Jim Daly 9, Samarema, owned by Marianne Georges, Otis Day and the Knights with David Hawk. 10, Pan It Up, owned by Scott Glenn and Mark Ader, Dan Ader, and he will be in the sulky. Field for the third trophy, sponsored by Thermal Seal. 5 minutes. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Parkham Mark between horses takes the lead. I'm Steven with a rush. Here's Samaram up on the far outside and Daring Lie. Sweeping up on the extreme outside. Fortune on hold. E5 kick out for Command. Marching Tune. After that, Polaris Parkway. Pan It Up. Swango, and at the end the trailer as they move to the quarter-mile pole. Run the Gauntlet. A little bit rough and jumping off stride further back in the field. That is the 10. Pan It Up. Opening up here in a solid 27-1. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. I'm Steven on the outside of Samarana, and I'm Steven heads apart for Command. Ranging up on the outside, Fortune on hold. Parkham Mark, the ground-saving Golden Journey to fourth as they make their way through the paddock turn, head to the half-mile pole. Daring Lie is next, driving up on the outside. Marching Tune, followed by the rail horse Polaris Parkway. Swango, gap of 2, Run the Gauntlet, still off stride. Pan It Up, 56-1, up the backstretch. Bouncing right along it, Samarama. Cock, locked, and ready to rock from the pocket, Parkham Mark. Jumping off stride on the outside, that was Fortune on hold, and everybody cleared him, luckily, as they drive into three-quarters. Bouncing right along it, Samarama. Parkham Mark sweeping up on the outside, Daring Lie, and I'm Steven. Wending his way through heavy traffic, Swango in 125-3. Field straightens away. Samarama, Daring Lie is up on the outside. Parkham Mark is still waiting for the passing lane, but Daring Lie gets the jump on him. It's Daring Lie, far outside, Run the Gauntlet. Parkham Mark too little, too late. Daring Lie is trying to hold. Run the Gauntlet up on the outside. Second, very tight between Swango and Parkham Mark to complete the superfecta. Comes the unofficial winner number 3, Daring Lie. 3-year-old bay colt by Dairy 2 out of Somebody Lied, owned by Howard Taylor of Penn Valley, Pennsylvania. Mary and Bruce Walls of Greenville, trained by Bruce Walls. Driven tonight by Eric Ledford. To cover them out in 156, number 3, Daring Lie. The unofficial of tonight's third race, the unofficial winner. I'd like to welcome the large group in the winner's circle tonight from Thermal Seal. Big group in the winner's circle tonight from Thermal Seal. Race sponsored by Budget Car and Truck Rental, field of 6 and a $10,000 feature. Number 1 is Soft Pride, owned by Denny and Joni Centers. Darren Mauser drives. 2 is Buckeye Sigh, owned by David Benter with Randy Tharps. 3, Meadowland Sam, owned by Tamara Hugler and Mike Metters with Brad Hanners. 4, Hoosier Whiz, owned by the White Creek Stable with Dave Hawk. 5, Light Source, owned by Weco Investments and Tony Clyer with Chip Noble. And number 6 is Suburbanite, owned by David Cooper and Gene Hall. Eric Ledford will be in the sulky. Field for the 4th, 6 minutes, Phil Post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Hoosier Whiz takes the lead. Meadowland Sam, Suburbanite with a rush on the far outside and Soft Pride on the rail. Buckeye Sigh and Light Source to the turn. Quickly taking over command, Meadowland Sam, a length and a half. Next in line, Hoosier Whiz. The little horse, Suburbanite, tucks in there third. Second division from fourth back, Soft Pride, Buckeye Sigh, and Light Source. Flying by the quarter in a snappy 27-2. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole, Suburbanite. Sensing the tempo being toned down. Just the shade is up to challenge the every step pace setter. Meadowland Sam, Suburbanite now sticks his nose, his head, his neck in front. Suburbanite goes on by. Meadowland Sam stung him pretty good second. After that, Hoosier Whiz in third. Buckeye Sigh coming to the outside. Soft Pride, and at the end it's Light Source. 55-2. Quickly down the backstretch. Suburbanite bouncing along, continues to lead the way. Suburbanite on top by 2. Closer second, Meadowland Sam. Buckeye Sigh on the outside. Hoosier Whiz along the rail. Light Source live cover, but he's got to do some more in Soft Pride. Racing to 3/4, and so far no urban renewal for Suburbanite in 124. Around the far turn, Suburbanite by a length and a half. Meadowland Sam on his heels in second, shaking free. Hoosier Whiz off the turn in the stretch. They're on their way home. Suburbanite draws off. It's Suburbanite on top by 3. Meadowland Sam doing his best, but it's not good enough. Deep stretch. It is Suburbanite, Meadowland Sam, and Hoosier Whiz third. Here comes the winner of tonight's 4th race. Number 6, Suburbanite. 4-year-old bay, make that an 8-year-old bay horse by Big Towner out of Bunny, Hanover. Owned by trainer David Cooper of Sabina. Gene Hall of Wallingford, Kentucky. Driven by Eric Ledford, covering the mile in 151 and 4. Number 6, Suburbanite. The winner with this win, classy veteran pacer, goes over $400,000 in career earnings, and that is a double tonight for Eric Ledford. Windows are now up and on tonight's 5th race. First half of the twin trifecta, a little over 1,400 in the carryover. There is a must pay because it is closing night. A must pay in tonight's twin trifecta. There are no changes in the 5th. 7th race, Bob Harper will drive number 2, Devil of a Day. 7th race, second half of the twin trifecta, size 6th, Meadowland Sam 2nd, Hoosier Whiz 3rd, Light Source 4th, and Suburbanite was the winner. 5, 6, 2, 3, 4. Here's the field for race number 5 as Kathy McDonald brings him to the post. Once again, folks, only about 1,400 in the twin trifecta carryover. Mandatory payout tonight, 1 Last Teardrop. Owned by Chad Folk and Freddie Fender with Rick Dingledine. Number 2, Osborne's Gigolo, owned by Bill M., and the driver is David Hawk. 3, Sandman Scooter, owned by Dean Collins with Mike Wilder. 4, T.H. Joe, owned by Michael Martin, Jeff Fout aboard. Number 5 is Capable Leader, owned by Tim Wright, Randy Tharps. 6, Passing Vice, owned by Billy Sanders, driver Brad Hanner. 7, Pike Creek Lacey, owned by Mike Hollenbach with Eric Ledford. 8 is Rich Pick, owned by Harry Hart with Bob Harper. 9, Dare to Hum, owned by James Novak and Mike Ogle with Phil Cunningham. 10, Governor Sammy, owned by Charlie Dillander. Jack Daly will be in the sulky. Field for tonight's 5th race, no changes. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing inside 4. Kick out quickly for the lead, T.H. Joe. In between horses, Osborne's Gigolo and Last Teardrop with a rush. Here comes Sandman Scooter, the late leader to 4th, and we're off to the rodeo in here. From out of the 2nd tier, here comes Governor Sammy as they drive to the top turn. Next in line, Rich Pick. After that, Capable Leader. Passing Vice and a couple trailers far, far back in the early going. Dare to Hum as they move by the opening quarter-mile pole. And Pipe Creek Lacey, 27 and 4. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Forging to the front. T.H. Joe by a length and a half. Osborne's Gigolo 2nd, Last Teardrop 3rd, Sandman Scooter 4th. Capable Leader and Passing Vice both come to the outside. Governor Sammy along the rail. After that, Rich Pick underway. Dare to Hum and the mare, Pipe Creek Lacey. They're at the half in a soft 58 and 1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. T.H. Joe bouncing along like G.I. Joe leads the way. Last Teardrop comes with a rush on the outside for Rick Dingledine. Osborne's Gigolo gets caught in along the rail. Here's Capable Leader, Passing Vice with a rush on the outside. Toward the rail, Sandman Scooter, Governor Sammy is underway. Along the rail, Rich Pick up on the outside as they move into 3/4. Dare to Hum and Pipe Creek Lacey, 127 and 4. Moving around the far turn, T.H. Joe fighting back. Last Teardrop is in the center. Osborne's Gigolo, Capable Leader, very wide to the far outside. Passing Vice, they're into the stretch. We got a ding-dong battle going here. Passing Vice on the far outside. Capable Leader, Passing Vice. Osborne's Gigolo, too wide, and the 5 gets there. Capable Leader. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's fifth race, number 5, Capable Leader. 8-year-old bay gelding by Abercrombie out of Tyler's Tanya. Owned in Versailles, Kentucky by Tim Wright, trained by Clint Binkley. Driven tonight by Randy Tharps to a hard-earned victory in 157-2. Number 5, Capable Leader, the unofficial winner of tonight's fifth race. 6 Passing Vice second, 2 Osborne's Gigolo third, and 8 Rich Pick was fourth. Seven Bubba Gump, post time at 9:14. Here comes the field for tonight's sixth race, 6 minutes till post time. 1 Scotchy Baker, owned by Orville Miller and Patty Muller, driven by Mike Roth. 2 Matt Can Do, owned by Sam Noble Jr. with Jim Dalley. 3 Hour General, owned by Kevin and Jeffrey Reed and Dean Collins. 4 Whiteland Fella, owned by Andrew Phyllis and Robert Dermeyer. Rodney Connors. 5 Jerry Direct, owned by Rebecca Jill Dwyer with Brad Hanners in the bike. 6 Fantastic Frisky, owned by Carbit Travis with Randy Tharps. 7 Bubba Gump, owned by John Ezo. Driver change to Jeff FOUT. 8 King of the Blues, owned by Richard Van Meter, Randy Owens, and Mel Riviello. Mike Wilder will be in the sulky. Field for the sixth, 6 minutes till post time. Happy birthday going out tonight to Lucille. Happy birthday, Lucille. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Whiteland Fella on the far outside takes the lead. In between horses, Our General and Scotchy Baker along the rail on a torrid clip here in the first 8. Matt Can Do can't go on. He's gapping 7 from the front. Followed by Jerry Direct, Fantastic Frisky, Bubba Gump, and King of the Blues. Seating arrangements are complete. Out on top, Dean Collins and Our General, 27-1. Solid opening quarter. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole, and Our General conducts on the front end. Scotchy Baker a tight second, followed by Whiteland Fella in third. Matt Can Do to the outside, and all aboard because the train has just left the roundhouse. Jerry Direct is in between horses. Fantastic Frisky up on the outside. King of the Blues coming quickly along the rail, taking over those spots vacated by the outside tier. And Bubba Gump in 56-4. Up the backstretch. Our General on top by a head bob. Matt Can Do looking him right in the eye. Second, Scotchy Baker skimming the pylons in third. Wide and driving, Jerry Direct, and here's Whiteland Fella. King of the Blues continues to stave ground strongly. Far outside, Fantastic Frisky. And Bubba Gump flying by 3/4 in 124-4. Moving around the far turn. Our General continues to lead the way. Matt Can Do is up on the outside. Scotchy Baker to the 8's got a ton of pace. King of the Blues, they're off the turn in the stretch. They're on their way home. Dean Collins all over Our General. Our General continues to lead the way. Scotchy Baker, King of the Blues, too little, too late. He got shut off in the passing lane. But here's Matt Can Do coming back to get it. Can Do, 5-year-old bay son of Matt Scooter out of Angel Be Good. Owned and trained in Cedarville by Sam Noble Jr. Hard driven by Jim Dalley. Coming back to win here in 154. Number 2, Matt Can Do, the winner of tonight's 6th race. Early pick 3 on 6, 5, and 2, $239 even. Exact the 1660 in the try, $99.20. Windows are now open on race 7. Bob Harper to drive number 2, Devil of a Day. Post time is 9:36. Number 1 is Max Public Enemy, owned by James Novak, Mike Ogle, Phil Cunningham drives. Number 2, Devil of a Day, owned by Bruce Roberts, Michelle Strickland, and Howard Murray, with a driver change to Bob Harper. 3, Howdy Hanover, owned by Clarence Ham with Darren Melzer. 4, Scoot and Bill, owned by Joshua Green with Jeff Fout aboard. 5, He's Promising, owned by Charles Curran Jr. in the bike Ryan Holton. 6, Salante Spur, owned by Alex Spence Jr. with David Hawk. 7, Society's Ransom, owned by Moses Beeman with Mike Wilson. 8, Dance on Air, owned by Keith Noble with Brad Hanners. 9, Panistats, owned by John Stevenson with Eric Ledford. 10, Slide Dance, owned and driven by John Payne. Field for race 7, Bob Harper to drive the 2. 6 minutes till field is now in motion, and there they go. They're off and pacing. Panistats on the far outside quickly takes the lead. Devil of a Day along the rail up on the outside. Alante Spur, they're down the back stretch, and Panistats got the racetrack in 5 steps. Panistats is out on top, followed by Devil of a Day in second. Back to third, Scootin' Bill up on the outside. Alante Spur midway on the turn. He's Promising. After that comes Howdy Hanover as they drive to the quarter-mile pole. Society's Ransom is next as they step by the opening quarter in a quick 27-1. Racing past the stands, Dance on Air up on the outside. Slide Dance and Max Public Enemy had the rail. Gets away a distant 10th as they move around the clubhouse, turn to the half-mile pole, and Panistats leads away by an easy 2 lengths. Devil of a Day is stalking in there second. After that, the favorite Scootin' Bill. They're at the half-mile pole in 56-3. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Panistats on top. Scootin' Bill with a rush on the outside. Toward the rail, Devil of a Day. They're down the backstretch. Scootin' Bill on the outside of Panistats. Devil of a Day driving up on the outside. Third, gap of 5 that He's Promising. Alante Spur can't go on. Society's Ransom. Far outside, Slide Dance. Nearest the rail, Dance on Air. Howdy Hanover 10th on the outside. Max Public Enemy in 1:25. Speeding around the far turn. Scootin' Bill has got the top a length and a half. Devil of a Day is up on the outside as Panistats gives way. Far outside, Society's Ransom. They're into the stretch. It's Scootin' Bill, Devil of a Day, Panistats along the rail. Society's Ransom is up on the far outside. Deep stretch. Scootin' Bill, Devil of a Day, and Society's Ransom third. Here comes the unofficial winner of tonight's 7th race, number 4, Scootin' Bill. 4-year-old bay gelding by Tudor Scooter of Gamblin' Joanne. Owned and trained in Cedarville by Josh Green. Driven tonight by Jeff Fout to cover the mound 154-3 for Scootin' Bill. The unofficial winner of tonight's 7th race, and a double tonight for Jeff Fout. Juarez Hanover, owned by Don and Carol Lehman, driven by Del S. Miller 2, Big and Slim. Owned by Russell Smith with Eric Ledford. 3, Sam Sharp has been scratched. Number 4, Nuclear Eclipse, owned by Melvin Riviello, Hubert Heights, Randy Owens, Lebanon, Ohio. Randy Owens trains, Mike Wilder drives. 5, Look No Rain, owned by Joyce and Dick McClellan with Dave Rankin. 6, Glebe, owned by Alex Spence Jr., and the driver is David Hawk. 7, Flaming Dragon, owned by Michael Colvin and Ronald Love with Randy Tharps. 8 is Straven, owned by Roy Murphy with Darren Melzer. 9, King of Crombie, owned by Robert and James Darrow and Alan Skolnick. Jeff Fout brings this guy out of post 9. 6 minutes till post time, scratch 3, Sam Sharp. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Gleave, middle of the racetrack. Look No Rain's going to contest it early on. So is Juarez, Hanover, and Big and Slim. They're down the backstretch. Nuclear Eclipse, King of Crombie's up on the far outside, followed by Straven and Flaming Dragon. As they move to the quarter-mile pole, nearest the rail, Juarez, Hanover on top. Look No Rain is up on the outside second, tucked in near third, Big and Slim. Gleave got hung again, but Dave Hawk guides them back to the rail, 26-4. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Look No Rain on the outside now, gets the lead. Juarez Hanover moves in to be second, followed by Big and Slim third. The white hood belongs to Gleave in fourth. Up on the outside, Nuclear Eclipse. Underway, King of Crombie, Straven along the rail. Up on the outside, Flaming Dragon there at the half-mile pole. Big and Slim up to challenge the pace setter in 56-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Field is now compact, heads apart for command. Look No Rain along the rail, Big and Slim on the outside and Gleave. Along the rail, Juarez, Hanover in between horses, Nuclear Eclipse. King of Crombie comes to the far outside. He's got plenty of kick for Jeff FOUT. Back of the pack, Flaming Dragon and Long Shot Straven. Well bunched, rolling by three-quarters. Look No Rain is there in 125. Around the far turn, Look No Rain, Gleave, a serious bid on the far outside. Big and Slim holding sway in the center. King of Crombie on the extreme outside might have the most pace now. They're fanned out 8 wide in the drive. King of Crombie on the far outside. Look No Rain, late closer. Flaming Dragon from last to first. With a burst, King of Crombie now gets the lead. Flaming Dragon up second. Look No Rain third. The unofficial winner of race number 8. Number 9, King of Crombie, 3-year-old bay colt by Abercrombie out of Radiant Rachel, owned by Robert and James Darrell, Alan Skolnick of Ohio, Indiana, and New York, trained by Virgil Morgan, driven tonight by Jeff FOUT, covering the mile in 154 to equal his lifetime best. Number 9, King of Crombie, the winner of tonight's 8th race, and that is a triple tonight for Team FOUT. 9-7 exact, the big one, $238 even. Trifecta, $751.60. Windows are now open on race 9. There are no changes on the balance of the program. Post time 10:17. Here comes the field for race 9. 3-year-old pace, 1 Grin Reaper. Owned by driver Dave Rankin and Ellicott Shaker Motors. 2 Haley's Yak Yak. Owned by John Roby, Gary Chafin, Benson Alba, and Brad Hanners. 3 Western Hero. Owned by the Brittany Farms with Jeff FOUT. 4 Hercules Sabra. Owned by Jerome Grogan, Eric Ledford aboard. 5 Let's Rock. Owned by Ralph Conley Jr. and David Hawk. 6 Mean Mr. Mustard. Owned by James Borchers with Bill Walters. 7 No Fear of Flying. Owned with Augusti Stable, Chip Noble will be in the sulky. No changes the balance of the card. 6 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Western Hero between horses takes the lead, and Haley's Yak Yak's going to go with them. Grin Reaper along the rail up on the outside. Hercules Sabra, they're down the backstretch. Let's Rock, Bean, Mr. Mustard, and No Fear of Flying. As they drive to the quarter-mile pole, and Western Hero's got the top easily. Western Hero a length and a half, and Haley's Yak Yak will stalk him second. Followed by Grin Reaper, third, racing fourth, Hercules Sabra. Let's Rock, Mean Mr. Mustard, and No Fear of Flying on a tepid 28 1/5. Racing past the stands to the half-mile pole. Western Hero carves this one out. Haley's Yak Yak. Grin Reaper is in the third, splitting this field of 7.5 from fourth. Hercules Sabra, Let's Rock. Mean Mr. Mustard needs some Heinz sight, and at the end it's No Fear of Flying. Around the paddock turn to the half-mile pole. Western Hero bouncing right along, gets them by the half in 58. Jeff FOUT now steps on the gas pedal. Western Hero responds, but Haley's Yak Yak is going to move right with him. They're down the backstretch. Grin Reaper third. Hercules Sabra just became unchained. He moves up on the outside. Let's Rock, Mean Mr. Mustard, No Fear of Flying. Under a double purple, Baby Nelson, it's still Western Hero. Driving through along the rail, Haley's Yak Yak up on the outside. Hercules Sabra, 126 and 2. Field swings around the far turn. Western Hero, Haley's Yak Yak's got a mid-full for Brad Hanners. They're fanned out 5 wide in the drive. Western Hero brings them on home. Haley's Yak Yak now comes off the rail and is up to challenge. It's Western Hero. Haley's Yak Yak is charging at him. Center circle, Haley's Yak Yak, a 3-year-old brown gelding by Nuclear Siren out of Cousin Chris. Owned in Ohio by John Roby, Gary Chafin, and Benson Alba. Trained by Michael Conklin. Given a flawless drive by the brown and white of Brad Hanners, covering the mile here in 154 and 1. That is not a GNU lifetime best. Number 2, Haley's Yak Yak, the unofficial winner of the 9th, and that is a print for show position. $17 even, and the try with the 1, $41.80. The try with the 6, $91. For tonight's 10th race, as Kathy McDonald brings him to the post, 1, Such a Fuss. Owned by Alex Spence Jr., Dave Hawk drives. 2, PAC-A Punch, owned by Edwin Cook, driven by Richard Cook. 3, Lord Tinsel, owned by Doug Parker, Craig Parker, and Harry Bergio with Darren Melzer. 4, Canadian's Choice, owned by Sylvia and Ronald Burke and Louis Starr Jr. Mike Wilder will be aboard. 5, Kingdom Way, owned by Dot Morgan and Victor Buenaguero, driven by Charlie Morgan. 6, Ready Bunny, owned by Bill Sanders and Del S. Miller. 7, Jessica Scooter, owned by Henry Schultz with Brad Hanners. 8, Gray Scooter, owned by Julie Farley and Jim Daly. 9, Charge and Chuck, owned by Philip and Patrick Hauser with Dan Ader. Number 10, Laughter in the Rain, owned by Richard Lee Mabra and Paul Anka. Eric Ledford will be in the sulky. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Charge and Chuck on the far outside takes the lead. Lord Tinsel and Such a Fuss. Going to be a pretty good clip here to the quarter-mile pole and PAC-A Punch. Moves in to be fourth as they drive to the quarter-mile pole. Kingdom Way up on the outside. Ready Bunny. On the extreme outside, Canadian's Choice. From out of the second tier, Laughter in the Rain. Jessica Scooter and Gray Scooter as they drive to the quarter-mile pole. Moving away on top, it's Such a Fuss and a lively 27 and 1. Speeding past the stands to the half-mile pole. Such a Fuss continues to lead the way by a length, driving the command on the outside. Here comes Lord Tinsel. Lord Tinsel takes over from Such a Fuss, and after that it's the 9, Charge and Chuck third. Free-legged horse, PAC-A Punch in fourth, Kingdom Way. Moving up on the outside, Laughter in the Rain as they make their way to the half-mile pole. Bouncing right along, it's Lord Tinsel. They're at the half in 56 and 4. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Lord Tinsel on top. Such a Fuss stalking second, racing third, Charge and Chuck. With a rush on the outside, Kingdom Way to fourth. Laughter in the Rain, fifth up on the outside. PAC-A Punch along the rail. Here comes Jessica Scooter into contention. Gray Scooter's up on the outside. Toward the rail, Ready Bunny, and after that it's Canadian's Choice. Racing by 3/4, it's Lord Tinsel on top in 126 and 1. Lord Tinsel leads the way. Kingdom Way second. Laughter in the Rain third. Jessica Scooter begins to close on the pylons as the field straightens away. Out on top, it's Lord Tinsel. Jessica Scooter with a rush along the rail. Kingdom Way is in the center. Laughter in the Rain is up on the far outside. Lord Tinsel, Kingdom Way, the battle's going to be for third. Lord Tinsel, Kingdom Way, Laughter in the Rain gets the head bob for the Scioto. Here's Lord Tinsel, 7-year-old brown gelding by Sidney Hill out of Parbro Blondie. Owned by Doug and Craig Parker and Harry Berger, all of Ohio, trained by Doug Parker. Hard driven tonight by Darren Melzer to cover the mile in 155-1. Number 3, Lord Tinsel, the winner of tonight's 10th race. 3-5 exacta, $44.20, $44.20. Trifecta returning $381.40. Here comes the field for race 11. This field of 9 will start the final pick 3. Number 1, Travis Hanover. Owned by Bill White's White Creek Stable, driven by David Hawk. 2, Rosemont-STUDENT, owned by Verl Barrett, Rainsman, Lanny Merriman. 3 is Speculum, owned by David Meyer and Orville Schroeder, with Brad Hanners for Broadway. Owned by Michelle Whitlock, Larry Binkley will be aboard. Number 5, Noble Sam, owned by Vincent Rakestraw, Greg Radosky, and Vincent Miller, Eric Ledford in the bike. 6, Armbro Nate, owned by Robert Deal with Jeff Fout. 7 is George W., owned by Keith Buell and Sergeant Winning Hunt with Dan Ader. 8, Breadbox, owned by Clarence and Rhonda Gillum, Ralph Leo Grande. 9, Midnight Heat, owned by Victoria Howard. Randy Tharps will be in the sulky. Field for race 11, post time in 6 minutes. 8. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Broadway takes the lead. Travis Hanover and Midnight Heat rolling up on the far outside, and Breadbox, the late lever, they're down the backstretch. Specula moves in to be 5th, followed by Rosemont-STUDENT. 6, Noble Sam. After that, it's Armbro Nate. And George W. is the trailer, and they're absolutely flying to the quarter-mile pole, and Travis Hanover's out on top. Travis on top by 2. A closer second comes the fresh face Broadway, moving by the opening quarter in 27-3. Racing past the stands of the half-mile pole, and Travis Hanover conducts on the front end. Broadway is second off the rail, driving up on the outside from 3rd. Midnight Heat underway. Breadbox. Here comes Speculum with a rush. Toward the rail, Noble Sam. Out and moving, Rosemont-STUDENT, Armbro Nate, and George W. Side by side and stride for stride around the paddock turn to the half-mile pole. Travis Hanover, Midnight Heat attacking on the outside. Broadway staying in along the rail, covering the half-mile pole in 57-3. Straightening out for their long track down the backstretch. Travis Hanover on top, a length and a half. Broadway is in there second. Midnight Heat side wheels up on the outside. Breadbox is coming on, and Rye Not. Here comes Noble Sam along the rail up on the far outside. Speculum. After that comes George W., middle of the racetrack. As they hit in the 3/4, Rosemont-STUDENT and Armbro Nate in 1:25 around the far turn. Travis Hanover leads the way. Broadway comes off the rail. Noble Sam got the ground-saving journey in here, and George W. moving inside the final 1/8 of the mile. Travis Hanover begins to get away. It's Travis Hanover with a rush down the middle of the racetrack. Noble Sam. Travis Hanover, Noble Sam is now closing with every stride. Travis, Noble Sam. Oh, maybe the 5 on the rail. Noble Sam, it's very tight. 4-year-old bay son of Nobleland Sam out of Floating Britina. Owned by Vincent Rakestraw, Greg Radosky, and Vince Miller, all of Ohio. Trained by Mike Metters. Driven tonight by Eric Ledford to cover the mile in 1:53-2. 5, Noble Sam, winner of the 11th and a triple tonight for Eric Ledford. 5-1 exacta, 124.80. The trifecta, $583.60. Windows are now up and on race 12, field of 10, and no program changes. Post time 11:18. owned by Jeff Gibson, driven by Mike Wilder. Number 2, Let the Big Horse Roll, owned by Scott Murphy with John Collins. 3, Bye Bye Sydney, owned by Robert Gardner, driven by Jim Daly. 4, Greystone Paycheck, owned by Jason Ash. Lanny Merriman will be aboard. Number 5 is Dr. Dudley, owned by Paul Simpson, Dave Hawk in the Bike 6 Broadway Clamor, owned by Darby's Ed Stable and John George Kaler, driven by Eric Ledford. 7 is Sterling, Ohio, owned by Charlie Dillander Jr. with Randy Tharps. 8 is Ever Easy, owned by Richard Stevens and Sal Nacera with Brad Hanners. 9, My Tie with Society, owned by Harold Williams and Jeff Fout. 10, Mr. L, owned by Mark Clark. Darren Mauser will be in the sulky. 5 minutes till post time. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. The gray on the far outside takes the lead. Broadway Clamor with a rush and Let the Big Horse Roll. Golden Delivery along the rail. Late lever Sterling, Ohio from post 7 out of the second tier. Mr. L, followed by Bye Bye Sydney, Greystone Paycheck, Dr. Dudley. Further out, Ever Easy and My Tie with Society. Seating arrangements are complete to the quarter-mile pole, and Eric Ledford conducts with Broadway Clamor. Opening up here in 28 seconds flat, racing past the stands. Moving away on top, it's Broadway Clamor by 2. Followed by Let the Big Horse Roll in second. Next in line, third, Golden Delivery, swinging up on the outside. Sterling, Ohio, here comes Bye Bye Sydney. The 10 got caught, Mr. L. Dr. Dudley could do right from here as they make their way through the paddock turn. Ever Easy, My Tie with Society. And at the end, it's Greystone Paycheck. They're side by side and stride for stride at the half and a soft 58-1. They're out of the turn and down the backstretch. Broadway Clamor continues to lead the way. The Hawkster tugs the right line. Dr. Dudley flies up on the far outside. Broadway Clamor, Dr. Dudley sweeps up on the far outside second. Sterling, Ohio is in the third. Let the Big Horse Roll fourth. Dr. Dudley making a house call, gets ahead in front in 1:27.2. Around the far turn, Dr. Dudley goes on by Broadway Clamor. Here's Sterling, Ohio up on the outside. Let the Big Horse Roll and Bye Bye Sydney. They're into the stretch. Dr. Dudley coming down the middle of the racetrack goes on by to get the lead while drawing clear. It's Dr. Dudley. The battle's going to be for second. It's Dr. Dudley. Let the Big Horse Roll. Dr. Dudley in front. And now, trained by Kip Hall, driven tonight by Dave Hawk. Covering the mile here in 1:56. Lifetime best by a fifth of a second, 5, Dr. Dudley, the winner of tonight's 12th race. 5-2 exacta, $45.20, and the try, $471.40. Windows are now open on tonight's 13th and final race, post time 11:38. Final post 11:38, no changes in tonight's 13th and final. And Kathy McDonald brings the Old Lang Syne Pacers onto the track for the final race, Superfecta 1 Bonjour. Owned by Keith Noble, driven by Jeff Fout. 2, Behold, owned by Chad Folk with Rick Dingledine. 3, Chicory Branch, owned by John and Gene Stone, Mike Wilder. 4, Pudman, owned by John Oldfield, Darren Mauser aboard. 5, Velvet Volcano, owned by Thomas Mann and Ronald Glover and Jim Daly. 6, Senor Sam, owned by Wilbur Sindel and Patsy Rowe, Dave Hawk. 7 is Twin Bee Dex, owned by William Webb. Eric Ledford. 8, Canvasback Rival, owned by Big Chuck Grubbs. Brad Hanners. 9, My Pal Van, owned by Don Johnson with Rocky Stidham. 10, Rambo Robbie, owned by Thomas Ryan. Randy Tharps will be in the sulky. Field for the 13th, 6 minutes till post. Field is now in motion. And there they go. They're off and pacing. Behold, with a rush between horses, takes the lead. Driving up on the far outside, Canvasback Rival and Rambo Robbie. Chicory Branch and Bonjour along the rail. Pudman, middle of the racetrack. Velvet Volcano, Senior Sam, Twin B Dex, and My Pal Van rides a tailgate as they circle to the quarter-mile pole. Canvasback Rival has got the top. Action coming early from mid-pack. Chicory Branch rolls up on the outside in a solid 28 seconds flat. Field of 10 in parade past the stands. Canvasback Rival leads the way by a length. Chicory Branch up on the outside. Behold along the rail. Bonjour picks up live cover toward the rail. Rambo Robbie as they make their way through the paddock turn. Pudman is now third over on the far outside. Nearest the rail, Velvet Volcano in seventh. Driving up on the outside, Twin B Dex, Senior Sam, ninth, and My Pal Van at the half in 57 and 2, side by side, and stride for stride, racing down the backstretch. Canvasback Rival on top, 3/4 of a length. Chicory Branch is up on the outside. Behold fighting back. Bonjour has to come 3 deep. Rambo Robbie locked in along the rail on the far outside. Twin B Dex in 1:26 and 3. Moving around the far turn. Canvasback Rival on top by a half a length. Driving up on the outside, Chicory Branch. Here comes Bonjour, 3 wide off cover as the field straightens away. This is intense right now for Canvasback Rival. Chicory Branch is in the center. Bonjour rolling down the middle of the racetrack. Chicory Branch, Bonjour is off stride. Deep stretch. Chicory Branch very tight for the other positions. Back Rival second, 6 Senior Sam third, 4 Pudman fourth. Chicory Branch, 7-year-old Roan Gelding by Keystone Howell out of PAC-A, owned by John and Jean Stone of Granville and Holton, Michigan, trained by Jim Florio. Hard driven by Mike Welder to cover the mile in 1:56 and 3. 3 Chicory Branch, the winner. Final pick 3, $288.20 on the 5-5-3 combination. 3-8 exacta, a triple Hugh Downs payoff. That's 20-20 times 97. We'll see you back here in 98. Thank you.